in the rematch.
Okay.
Like Tupac said, you hit me with your best shots and couldn't do all. You know what's coming for you. I'm gonna you up, bitch.
Yeah, I still think Usyk beats him. I think, you know, the argument is a good big un beats a good little un, but I think Usyk is an exceptional fighter. I think in terms of their boxing ability, like, Usyk is a lot better.
As Tyson Fury and Oleksandr Usyk gear up for their highly anticipated rematch later this month, many experts and analysts have expressed concerns about Tyson's physical and mental condition. Meanwhile, during a recent face-off between the fighters and their respected promoters, Usyk shared his feelings about facing Tyson once again, this time with a more imminent threat of loss looming over his head. According to Usyk, although he is confident that he will also persevere this time, just like the last one, deep down he understands the severity of this challenge, because not only is boxing a very tough sport with many unexpected twists and turns, but also Tyson will be returning with a vengeful fire, fueling him this time and filling him with a newfound passion.
Very famous of world. It's a big man. I'm small man. This is big man. But we have second fight. Listen. Boxing, it's a not play. Boxing, it's a hard sport. Tough.
Elated at the chance of once again being a part of the biggest boxing venue in the world, Usyk stated that though he thinks that the first fight was fair and square, the overall sentiment surrounding that match was anything but satisfactory, which further propagated this idea of this rematch, something that was already being considered even before the first fight took place because of the high-profile names that were involved and its immensely lucrative nature. Usyk stated, "I am just happy to fight. The second fight will be good. Tyson knows what I do. I know what Tyson does. It's a great time for me and my opponent. I'm very happy." Reminiscing about his past performance in May, Usyk shared his potential strategies for this fight as well, stating that after the experience and knowledge that he gained from facing Tyson once before, he is now aware of his opponent's moves and has made sure that he trains for every possible deflection or attack that is thrown at him on fight night. Not holding back, Usyk pointed out that even though Tyson has been keeping a brave face in front of the media and his fans, his eyes portray his true feelings, which are filled with acute fear and anxiety that history will repeat itself. Usyk stated, "My fight will be hard because Tyson's a big man, a very good boxer, and has a good boxing IQ. I see from Tyson Fury's eyes, it was not easy. For him, it will be hard. Very, very hard." Reiterating his trademark threats and insults towards Tyson, Usyk warned him to not run away from him this time and to face him in the center like a professional fighter and champion of his caliber, because no matter what happens, he will make sure to not leave him alone and to chase him towards every corner of the ring.
Do you feel like he ran from you in that fight?
No, I say not run. Don't be afraid. I will not leave you alone again.
Now, even though looking back at the past few months following the tense battle in May, it appears as if there is no real rivalry or bad blood brewing between the fighters, this recent face-off has really brought out the heat, because after countless snide comments from Usyk, Tyson lost his temper and blasted the Ukrainian fighter, threatening him while reassuring himself and his fans that at this point, after facing all sorts of adversaries, he is not afraid of anyone, let alone someone like Usyk.
And what does that even mean? Don't be afraid of a boxing match, please.
Yeah, it's a boxing match.
I've had many boxing matches before and not been afraid. I'm sure you have as well. You've had 300 amateur fights. You're not going to be afraid of a boxing match. So yeah, I don't really make much of that.
Not letting the blatant disrespect slide, Tyson doubled down on his efforts of intimidating Usyk while maliciously warning the fighter about how he would make sure that this time he beat him not with points or a lame decision, but with a proper knockout that would not only satisfy his craving for revenge that has been festering inside him for the last couple of months, but will also solidify his position at the top once again by regaining his undisputed title.
You hit me 10 shots. 10 clean shots on the chin.
Okay,
no
okay,
canvas touch.
Yeah.
You're in the rematch.
Okay.
Like Tupac said, you hit me with your best shots and couldn't do all. You know what's coming for you. I'm going to you up, bitch.
We're trying to press charges again. That ain't going to happen. Let's not go there. That ain't going to happen.
This man's trying to stir shit up, isn't you?
It's a face-off,
I can see you're a DAZN man.
This
Calm down.
fight doesn't even need that, because it was such a great fight between two of the best heavyweights of the 21st century. The last fight was a magnificent fight, and it will be the same again.
Although Tyson tried his best to appear daunting, many people think that this stunt was rendered useless by Usyk and his manager, who appeared unfazed by all these threats, which might have irritated Tyon further because, throughout the duration of the interview, Tyson refused to ponder over anything serious about his possible next strategy and circled around the idea, stating that this time he will not let anything get to his head and will enter the ring with a serious game plan. Tyson stated, "We've got to put that behind us. What happened in the fight, I have to be a little bit more focused and a little bit more smart to get the victory. I believe it's my time this time. I believe that all things that happen, negative or positive, are lessons." Addressing this particular face-off and the overall behavior that has been displayed by Tyson in the last couple of weeks, famed YouTuber and analyst True Geordie thinks that these new and lame intimidation gimmicks from Tyson are not giving their desired results, because no matter what he tried to do this time, he is set to enter the ring against someone who cannot be deterred or shaken up by any threats or warnings, and at one point Tyson understands this fact as well, which irritates him further because in all the fights that he has participated before, these kinds of tactics have always been quite successful. Geordie commented, "He, Tyson, wanted to put Oleksandr Usyk in a place of fear. He's not doing that this time, because either he's just in a good mood maybe, but it is possible that he also just looks at Usyk and thinks that I can't break you mentally. I've done this to people before. It doesn't work on you." Geordie added, now that he, Tyson, has taken some massive shots from Usyk, he's probably not feeling like he can intimidate him, so why bother? Another factor that Geordie highlighted in his debate was the nervous rambling that Tyson has been partaking in the last couple of months, stating that after the humiliating loss that the British fighter faced earlier this year, his ego has taken a serious hit and he has been on quite a tumultuous path following his first loss, which has regressed him into an amateur fighter with little to no confidence, and someone who is struggling to find his footing back into the sport.
It's a bit of coping here of he knows he lost that fight and he doesn't feel great about it, so he's just talking and talking. He can't even shut himself up at this point. Like, it's just, the sentence is never ending, and he's not even giving himself a second to breathe, and you can feel that uncomfortableness of what went down that night.
Talking about Usyk as a fighter, Geordie went on to commend the Ukrainian fighter for his exceptional fighting techniques and boxing IQ, which at this point in the heavyweight division is almost unheard of. Looking back at the immense progress that is made by Usyk till this point, especially considering his increase in weight from cruiserweight to heavyweight, Geordie believes that all these attributes will also prove to be quite the hindrance in Tyson's motives of getting his titles back.
What Usyk did show in that moment is, in close range, he has a lot of power, and I think Fury will now know, if I let him get that close, I'm in trouble this time round, and he may have underestimated that in the first fight, and that knowledge could help him win the second fight, right? He's now going to understand the real dangers of fighting a Usyk, and it is partly about who can put those lessons to better use for their game plan in the rematch.
However, despite these jaded views, Geordie talked about the potential winner of this fight, stating that even though Usyk will be the main choice, if Tyson gets his lost motivation back and looks back at his past mistakes and learns proper lessons from them while making sure that he does not underestimate his opponent this time, then he has a clear shot at winning this upcoming fight.
And what that now means is you have to put some respect on Usyk's name, because while he was this blown up middleweight beforehand, because he came up from cruiserweight, he has good power, and more importantly, he was always going to hit Tyson Fury more than anyone had ever hit him before. I said that in my prediction video, and I said he might even drop Fury. And it's not just about power. It's about volume, this fight. Fury's not really had to worry about that as much with anyone, because he's usually the fitter guy and he's usually the better boxer, and that's what makes this matchup beautiful.
Sharing the same analysis as Geordie, George Groves firmly thinks that, like the last bout, this fight will also go in Usyk's favor because of the tenacious spirit and relentless motivation of the Ukrainian fighter, as compared to Tyson Fury, who has somewhat lost his passion in the last couple of fights, especially after the brutal Deontay Wilder fights. Mentioning Usyk's journey from a small and struggling cruiserweight to a world-renowned heavyweight champion, George stated that due to the obviously biased nature of the boxing community, many people tend to underestimate fighters from relatively foreign regions like Usyk and think that they will never ever compare to their idols like Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury.
Yeah, I picked Usyk to beat Fury. I remember when Usyk first moved up to heavyweight, I said he's a dark horse, don't write this guy off. You know, we've seen cruiserweights move up to heavyweight and dominate in previous years, and it did seem a bit unfathomable for a lot of people that he's never going to compete with the Anthony Joshuas or people weren't even really talking about Tyson Fury, I don't think, quite at the time. Or maybe he just sort of burst back on the scene beating Wilder.
Predicting Usyk to win again this time based on these factors, George compared the skills of both the fighters, explaining that even though Tyson is bugger and bulkier as compared to the Ukrainian fighter, Usyk possesses masterful skills and an immaculate boxing IQ, which allows him to overpower his opponents no matter the disparities in their size or height.
But yeah, I still think Usyk beats him. I think, you know, the argument is a good big un beats a good little un, but I think Usyk is an exceptional fighter. I think in terms of their boxing ability, like, Usyk is a lot better.
Being someone who has been supportive of Usyk since the start of his professional career, especially in terms of taking part in international fights, famed analyst and reporter Simon Jordan also thinks that Usyk will win this time as well, based on how at this era or stage, no fighter is capable of taking down a methodological genius like him, even if they are a formidable boxer like Tyson Fury. Praising the Ukrainian fighter for his grateful and respectful attitude towards not only his fans, but also his opponents, Simon stated that such attributes are very rare in this day and age and make Usyk a great role model for the younger generations. Simon stated, "He's a very elegant, sophisticated, and balanced athlete that gives credit. I love the way he refers to the opportunities he was given, like Anthony Joshua. I think that's such an elegant way to look back on the legacy that he's inherited for himself or gained for himself. I think it'll be a fascinating fight." Talking about Tyson Fury, Simon raised some very alarming questions about Tyson's current status as a fighter and an individual. According to Simon, for a fighter like Tyson who has never been defeated before in his long career and has maintained this persona of an unbeatable cocky boxer, defeat is a tough pill to swallow and can have many adverse effects on his mental health, which has been quite apparent after witnessing the videos and clips that have resurfaced about Tyson's behavior. Now, what Simon might have tried to allude to here is the somewhat offhandish comments and overall down attitude that is being displayed by Tyson Fury in the days leading up to the fight, especially in these last couple of weeks where he has now resorted to making light of his last defeat, claiming that he was the original winner and that it was the fault of the biased judges who made him lose. Simon stated, "No one knows whether Tyson Fury can dig deep. He's never been in this space before, he's never lost, so nobody knows where he has the ultimate ability to come back." Understanding the immense pressure that Fury might be under and the serious toll it might be taking on the fighter, Simon pointed out how even though this fight seems to be very much in Usyk's favor, considering their current status, Tyson is an extraordinary fighter who knows what it feels like to make a good comeback after facing such brutal adversity and having your fans turn against you just because either you underperformed or lost to someone. Simon stated, "I still remember the best version of Tyson Fury, which I don't know whether we'll ever get again, but the best version of Tyson Fury would deal with Usyk. Usyk has gone through the division and done everything that he needed to do." Looking at the bright side of things, the renowned promoter Eddie Hearn shared his opinions about this rematch, stating that even though Usyk is a great fighter who has an unprecedented skill set, especially for a heavyweight fighter, Tyson Fury is still one of the greatest fighters of this era, no matter if he lost his last fight. Hoping that the Gypsy King can triumph this time, Eddie looked at the next big thing for the British fighter, emphasizing that if Fury is successful in securing a win this time, he can move forward to face off against Anthony Joshua next year in an extremely lucrative event that will be hosted by none other than His Excellency.
I want Tyson to win because he's British, and I think it could set up, I mean, whatever happens is going to set up a big AJ fight, but for the World Championship would be unbelievable. I think it's very difficult to bet against Usyk.
On the other hand, with the preparations for this highly anticipated event in full swing, the fans have been over the moon and have been making countless predictions about who might be the next undisputed heavyweight. And to keep the crowd hyped up, a few days ago, the main stakeholder and organizer of this entire event, His Excellency Turki Alalshik, released a very exhilarating promo of the fight, which highlighted the fact that this fight was always inevitable, and that this time the fans will have a much more satisfactory ending. However, even though the promotion for this event has been top tier and has been critically acclaimed by many experts and professionals in the industry, the reactions from the boxing community have been quite polarizing, with many fans either thinking it to be a huge deal or something that will be remembered for the days to come, or some calling it out to be very disappointing and confusing because throughout the promotional process, even for the previous fight, there was never an occasion where it seemed like Usyk might be afraid or worried about fighting Tyson like it has been portrayed in the promotional video. Expressing their views, one fan took to his Twitter to state, "It's definitely the best one. Took a downturn with the Guy Ritchie one. This one's class." Another fan wrote, "No, makes no sense for Usyk to be haunted by Fury after knocking him from pillar to post and becoming the undisputed champ." With this myriad of opinions and speculations circulating online, many people jumped in the defense of this whole fight along with its promotional aspects, including Tyson Fury's father, Peter Fury, who thinks that this fight will be one of the greatest bout of this era, based on how two of the best fighter in the division will be going head to head in a vicious battle for the coveted title of being the next undisputed and unified heavyweight champion of the world. Peter, who was one of the major highlights of the last fight in May due to his incessant crude remarks and his very publicized headbutting incident that occurred during the press conference, is no stranger when it comes to generating hype and more attention around a fight. So for him to come out and defend this venture is something that many fans have already been anticipating. Meanwhile, dismissing the claims that Tyson might be afraid of Usyk before going into the rematch, Peter emphasized that despite the loss in the last fight, Tyson has been extremely motivated in the last couple of months and has been vigorously training for one of the toughest fights of his career against a fighter who is not only swift in his movements around the ring, but also utilized his skills and brain in which a way that it almost always ends up confusing his opponents.
I think to analyse this properly, this is the best opponent that Tyson's been up against. But, you know, Tyson's got a lot more advantages than Usyk in size, he can box, and he can punch as well. So, you know, Tyson on his A form should come through this fight to be undisputed champion.
Another person who has close ties with the Fury family is Mike Tyson, who has also been quite vocal about his support of the British fighter before going into this rematch. Being a former undisputed heavyweight champion and someone who has gone through all the highs and lows of boxing, Mike advised Fury to get serious this time and quit fooling around while underestimating his opponents, because this exact same thing led to his downfall in the last fight. During an interview, Mike stated, "Hey, listen, Usyk surprised everybody. I think Fury played around too much. I think he needs to be taking this fight seriously and hopefully we get a different result to last time." While sharing his technical analysis behind the fight and comparing the stance and caliber of both the fighters, Mike commented that though Usyk might be the more dominant fighter in terms of boxing IQ and prowess, if Tyson weaponizes his sheer size and power properly this time, then he can easily take down the Ukrainian Devil in the first couple of rounds. Talking about the constant glare of criticism that has been directed towards Fury for the last couple of months, Mike stated that for any fighter, the most important thing is to have some stability in their life, along with some staunch support to fall back on, which is not only gives them confidence, but also motivates them to perform better under stress. Mike added, "Usyk is the best heavyweight in the world at the moment, but I'm going for Fury to beat him. Why? Because I'm a fan. Because his father gave him my name. I'm not abandoning him now." Also looking forward to his fellow British fighter winning the rematch, Daniel Dubois gave an interview to a famed reporting agency commenting that this fight will be an extraordinary affair for the heavyweight division because of the very few unification bouts that have taken place in the last couple of decades. Now, although Daniel thinks that his previous opponent, Usyk, is a great fighter and a very tough person to beat inside the ring, Tyson Fury is not someone who can be taken lightly because he is an absolute beast who can take down any fighter on this planet. Daniel stated, "I'm still backing Fury for the win. I hope our man does it. Usyk is capable. Fury should jump on him and smother him. Fury is a slick boxer too, but it will be a great fight and I'll be out there calling on to fight the winner." So in the end, what are your thoughts about this fight and the concern that has been shown by the experts regarding Tyson not being ready for this bout? Make sure to tell us about your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe to our channel.